G'day everyone, today I'm about an hour outside of Adelaide in the regional town of Tailem Bend to take a look around Old Tailem Town. Old Tailem Town has been open and operating since 1987 and is touted as Australia's largest pioneer village. Spanning over 100 buildings, the site allows you to take a step back in time with a self-guided tour through a, immersive experience. Many of the buildings here were transported from their original locations in an attempt to build a sense of authenticity. The grounds are filled with preserved structures including homes, churches, a police station, post office, a mechanic's workshop and much more. Everything you would expect to see in a small town in regional Australia. This is an incredible variety of relics from the past on display, from vintage vehicles, farm machinery, fire trucks, and countless tools and everyday items that tell the story of life in early Australia. It does feel truly like a complete town, with every detail evoking the spirit and atmosphere of a bygone era. So whether you're a history buff or a family looking for a day out or a traveller intrigued by pioneer heritage, Old Tailem Town certainly offers an unforgettable journey into the past. Now the museum is, interesting, I'll give it that. I got there just after the park had opened at 9 AM and it had a seriously eerie vibe to it. There was turn of the last century music playing throughout the park on some very old PA speakers, and it was, empty. Which I somewhat enjoyed as I meandered around the grounds, looking in and out of buildings, which I think I should also mention aren't lit, so they are a little spooky. Now, of course, I was there to have a look at this place I've driven past so many times, but mainly to look at their collection of railway items, which feature carriages from a former permanent way of works train. Originally, these carriages were used as suburban passenger cars on the South Australian rail network, ferrying countless commuters over the years. Later in life, they were repurposed as part of a maintenance of way train, transporting workers across the state's many rail lines to maintain the network. Today, these carriages rest here in retirement, showing a significant amount of wear and tear from their hard-working past, but they do remain a fascinating testament to the evolution of rail transport. The collection also includes a number of goods vans and even a tanker, and these represent several eras of Australia's railway history. The rolling stock does span from the early South Australian railways through to the Australian national era, in a way showcasing the evolution of rail transport for goods and cargo over time. Among these, there is a former railway station building from Peak, a small town east of Tailem Bend. This historic station dates back to the early 1900s and serves as a charming reminder of a role small stations played in connecting remote communities. Together, these pieces offer a diverse look into the infrastructure that kept goods and people moving across South Australia. As well as these larger railway items, they also have many other railway artefacts, signals and signs. They even have a wigwag. Beyond the boundaries of the main museum, there's even more pieces of rolling stock, which look to be some livestock and some small louvered vans, although these are out of bounds from the main museum. Outside the museum, visitors can find quite an eclectic mix of vintage trucks, cars, and even a historic H-type tram. These are known as Glenelg trams, and these H-type trams were built in 1929, specifically for the Glenelg tram line. They were a fixture on Adelaide's public transport network for over 77 years, running up until 2006. Now number 374 is on display here. It was one of 5 H-types refurbished in the early 2000s with the hope of preserving a small fleet for heritage operations. Though these plans did not come to fruition, 374 has found its home outside of Old Tailem Pioneer Village, where it sits looking a little sad. As well as that, there's also an 860 class Red Hen rail motor trailer positioned under a signal gantry. As well as that, there's also a Brill trailer car, which is plinth just to the left of the entrance. There's even evidence of a once operational model railway in what I think was a goods shed. It does come complete with a sign marked Monado South. However, like much of the museum, these pieces are showing signs of age and would need considerable restoration to be fully functional again. While the displays are captivating, it's clear that many parts of the collection could use some care. Most items are very worn out and in a somewhat neglected state. Now, a unique feature of the old Tailem town is a collection of inspection trolleys, which are on a large loop of track outside. Although it does seem that they haven't run in quite some time. They do hold potential draw to any rail enthusiasts, and I'm sure if restored to working order, these trolleys would offer a rare experience, as few places provide a chance to ride these small, once essential rail vehicles. Of course, I do understand that there would be some challenges around maintenance, insurance, and of course safety. But I guess, if possible, this would be quite a unique draw to old Tailem town, and make it even more of a destination for rail fans and, well, visitors alike. Now, getting to Tailem Bend from Adelaide is simple. It's about an hour's drive, which is really the only way to reach it. But it is a pleasant trip through the Adelaide Hills, even via Murray Bridge, which has its own railway story, one maybe for another time. The town of Tailem Bend also has a rich railway history, once a bustling hive of activity. Although South Australia no longer has regional passenger trains, you might see the occasional freight train heading east or west. The town offers a few railway-related sites, like the old station, which is sometimes open as a museum, and a Plinth RX-type steam locomotive, making this a worthwhile stop for all rail enthusiasts. And perhaps, one day, and maybe this is wishful thinking, it'd be nice to see the Tailem Bend Roundhouse open as a working museum, potentially welcoming trains back to the area. Currently though, it's closed to the public, but it does have one of my favourite locomotives, the mighty 900 class, which is undergoing reactivation work. Once again, that might be something for another video. Now, as for visiting Old Tailem Town, it's open from 9 AM to 4 PM 7 days a week, except for Christmas, and the entry for an adult is $28. Now, while a bit steep, I actually had a pretty good time here, spending easily 2 hours exploring, taking photos, and absorbing all of the history. And if I'd checked out every single building, I could have easily stayed longer. And I think it would be incredible if the inspection trolleys were operating, because at that price point, I think it would definitely be worth it. If you're like me and have driven past Tailem Town many times on the way to Adelaide, I'd definitely recommend stopping in, experience it at least once, and check out some unique pieces of railway and Australian history. So there we go. I hope you've all enjoyed taking a look around Old Tailem Town, and they've definitely got some interesting things here, and you can pretty easily spend a couple of hours. So if you are after any more information and contact details on Old Tailem Town, I'll leave it in the description below. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to be subscribed so you can keep up to date with all the videos that I've got coming out soon. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Hooroo!